Yo!
Hello.
Hope everyone's doing well. Got a comment here already.
Modern day caveman's on. What's up?
Hey, what we doing, dude?
Welcome to Oklahoma at the voice of college football. I am Tyranny Smith, and this is my husband.
Chad Smith. Worn out. Long day at work.
We are here every
Monday.
Monday at 7 o'clock Central Time. So
Yep.
we hope that you join us every Monday at 7, unless otherwise posted. And then we hope you join us during football season when we will also do post-game reactions. So hopefully there'll be more happy ones this year. That would be good.
Yeah,
Nice.
no joke.
While you're here, go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel. Follow each of us on social media if you have not already. Follow the Voice of College Football on social media as well, especially if you're a fan of college football as a whole. There's lots of fun topics and discussions that they upload to them as to those accounts, as well as check out the Voice of College Football site, their new website
Yeah.
that they just had.
It's actually really sweet.
vocfb.com. So, now that we've got
let's actually see if we can pull it up.
that, Chad's going to pull it up.
.com. Nope, I didn't do it right.
VOCFB.
I can learn how to type.
I'm a fan of MJ the GOAT.
Over 129 are starting drama.
What did you already write something about?
No, I haven't written anything.
Makes me think he's written something about LeBron today, but
I really haven't.
Okay.
Just bring it up. That's fine. We allow wrong opinions on this channel.
Oh my gosh.
all
Yeah,
good.
we have yours all the time.
Oh, that was actually pretty good. That's cold. Golly, I don't think I've ever actually been this tired before a show, which means you gotta fight through it.
I don't know. I was ready to go and I sat down like 10 minutes before we were ready, essentially. And I was sitting on the couch and I was like, oh no. I started getting really tired. But Chad's going to go ahead and show he's going to put it on the screen, the Voice of College Football website. If you guys want to check it out, it has a list of all the shows that are on today and throughout the week. Ta-da!
There you go. Some notes back there, but yeah. So this is the website. It's actually really sweet. They got a schedule coming up. You see us right here.
Ta-da!
So you can catch out other shows if you're interested. They have really pretty good articles about just different teams all around college football. Any other site, you kind of have your certain subjects here and different kind of whatever you're interested in. So look out to it. It's actually a pretty good website. I've been using it,
especially if you're like a lot of us are. You're
consistently.
just football deprived right now.
Yeah, no joke.
Unless you're watching, what is it? The USF,
US
XFL. What is it? What are the
well,
letters
you
for
would
that?
ask me that whenever I'm not even
Sorry.
headgum. I don't know. I'm not.
USFB?
No, it's a
I don't
UFL, I believe.
UFL.
Yeah. So here are the
Struggling.
different. I'm trying to actually I haven't checked this today, so I'm kind of seeing what it is over here. Jaden Rashada's long winding road is not a happy one, but maybe. So there you go. You can look at Jaden Rashada. Interesting lawsuit he's involved in with Florida and all that. But got some recruiting news today. Got some other stuff we're going to kind of talk about and just kind of get opinions on. There was an update in the house settlement that I'd like to go over, and then we're going to talk about some softball and call it a show. So. I guess the first thing that we wanted to talk about was there was a new quarterback that came in since we last did a show, and that's just going to be, I believe, he'll be a guy that is just kind of a depth piece, but won an FCS playoff game last year, and Mercer quarterback Whit Neubauer. He 6'6" guy, 225.
We got rid of an old Bauer and we gained a new Bauer.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Da-da.
Yeah. And so there's that, and then this is him. I got to zoom in so that people don't see my other stuff, I guess. Here's a picture. But yeah, so you see here 1,400 yards, 12 touchdowns in 2024 as a true freshman, and now he's going to be at Oklahoma. Won a first-round playoff game last year in FCS, and then I think against Rhode Island, and then he lost to North Dakota State, as many teams do.
One thing I really hated, I say I hated, that's a strong word, was annoying is, of course, which I know people are just going to troll, but it's like, oh, why are we getting this? It's almost a panic too for like, oh, you fans, like, why are we getting this person? Does this mean that Mateer or Hawkins aren't, you know, working out? And then, of course, there's all the trolls, especially from Texas, that essentially say the same things, like, oh, trouble in paradise already, got to get another quarterback. It's like, it's a depth piece.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we went into a Red River rivalry game in a Wildcat with a tight end. Like, because, well, we had a backup, but homeboy couldn't throw it because we didn't have any other backups that were able to play. So it's like you just need those depth pieces, someone that could at least prove that he can throw the ball.
Yeah. No,
so it just was funny seeing some of the reactions. I'm like, yeah, because we just don't want to have two. Heaven forbid something happen. We hope it doesn't happen. No offense to this kid. I hope he never sees the field.
No joke.
Sorry.
Other recruiting news real quick. We got a Valden Stone update. Looks like he kind of has been talking with Todd Bates, another guy that's a pretty big.
I love Coach Bates.
Pretty big target for us. 6'3", 320 kid, big old guy. There was he talked kind of just in general about how much he liked him. Hopefully we can get him in for an official visit. But that would be a big time pickup for us. Again, as they keep adding pieces to what is already a really deep and talented roster on defense, it's only going to continue to help us.
Right. I think Todd Bates is an excellent recruiter.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you've ever met him or just even seen his interviews, like we watched the SEC channel, was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
For the football, and like he's being interviewed, you just can't help but like the guy. He's just so friendly and just happy, and you can tell he loves his job. You can tell he loves football.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's contagious, and people want to play for somebody like that. And I think the same with Chavis is the same. I think Emmett Jones, like all have such fantastic energy, and they're all very personable.
True.
That you just can't help but like them.
No, I agree. And it kind of shows with just the type of players they keep getting every year. I mean, they consistently get the best guys.
And of course, Emmett Jones and Chavis are, no offense to Todd Bates, but like younger too, so I feel like they relate really well.
Yeah.
To the athletes. I think Todd Bates is just like an awesome like father figure.
Yeah, same.
Like a cool dad figure.
Yeah, no, he is. Todd Bates is great. So hopefully, that can continue to work out for us. We also have a 4-star receiver and a state champion sprinter, wide receiver Dallas Dickerson. Being I got some in my eye. Being looked at, being visited by Ben Arbuckle and receivers coach. What's his name? T? There we go. Emmett Jones. And this is what he looks like. There's the guy.
And from what I've seen, homie can fly.
Yeah, probably pretty fast. Definitely faster than me. We'll give him that.
Okay.
We'll give him that. But yeah, you'll see that there. Also, it's kind of funny that he was wearing a Kirby Smart T-shirt, I thought.
Football
camp, yeah. But, you see the stuff back here, the Boomer Sooner, and it's kind of cool. I bet that's you got recruiters on site, so they probably OU day for them. But yeah, would be a good pickup for us. The one thing he said that I kind of liked was that he was like, OU's going to have a good quarterback, so I don't have to worry about that. And especially, with Arbuckle being here now and that kind of pedigree, he's going to continue to have really, really great quarterbacks in and out of the program. So, good to keep going from there.
Hopefully. Let's not jinx it.
Yeah,
Seemingly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm very, very excited to watch John Mateer play.
Dude, me too.
Like, I mean, and it's no shade to what happened last year because, like we've talked about, there was just a number of factors, but it just might be so refreshing to not wonder, hopefully, if we're going to score 10 points. Score a touchdown.
It's refreshing to think like we might not turn the ball over 5 times whenever we do get a stop on defense or defense,
Right.
And which will be nice. And we'll get into the encouragement of we saw Josh Pate come out with his ranking, which I know is a just his opinion, but I think he does a good job of being pretty unbiased with his opinions and making sure that he doesn't let too much of his fandom bleed into it. I don't even know what I'm trying to type here. Okay.
I don't know either.
Sorry.
I'm over here looking
sure we
at
got our deal
what's
worked
happening
up.
over here.
I'm telling you, I had so much stuff going on. Didn't really have much time to put this together. So
yeah.
There we go. All right, sorry, now more focus.
But Boomer129 wants to know: have you ever said you can't handle the truth in a courtroom, Chad?
No, I haven't. If you scream that in a courtroom, you'd be in a lot of trouble. They're actually fairly boring places to be. Sorry, depositions. That'd be fun though. I mean, if I was a judge, I would be like, if it was just, I don't know. I don't know if I'd care or not.
Or maybe it would depend on the scenario.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you say scenario or scenario?
Scenario. I do at least. That is weak. It is. It is weak sauce. I know.
Sauce.
I know. All right. What else we want to talk about? We were at the. I wanted to show this. I want to give the guys at the Mainline podcast, my bad, a little bit of a shout here. They always come out with some really interesting statistics, and they had this stat here about running backs in the SEC and their career yards from scrimmage. And I just kind of wanted to show that because OU's going to go from what they were, a relatively young backfield in terms of experience with a guy like, let me zoom in here, a guy like Xavier Robinson being your lone starter to really being able to have, some of the most experience actually in the conference. So obviously you see here running back yards from scrimmage, Jay Knott, Oklahoma, 3,333. That was rather fortuitous and lucky that it was that easy. 800 yards more than the next guy, a little over 800 yards more. Oscar Attaway, the third from South Carolina. We're going to have some really good offense, I think, next year. Jay Knott's a different kind of caliber running back that we just haven't seen. I think he's a guy that has Tatum-type burst, but doesn't have the ball handling issues, able to understand the offensive scheme in terms of blocking, which is going to be really big for a guy like John Mateer to trust who he has in the backfield blocking with him. And getting that type of motor, along with the experience and the confidence that comes with that, is, I think, going to lead OU to having a really, really good offense. I think minimum top 55, which would be would be unrecognizably good.
Oh my gosh, so much better than last time.
Yeah, and top 50 doesn't even seem. We were like top 4 every year for a while there. We were 4th in the country when Dylan Gabriel was here.
Right.
And now I
think that is what was just so shocking.
Right.
I mean, and again, like you chalk it up, yes, to the injuries and all of that, and experience and injuries then and experience, I guess I should say. But now you're hoping that it pays off because those guys who shouldn't have been playing last year, now they can be solid backups, you hope. Or if they are getting a starting position, then they have another year of experience under their belt, maybe won't be so wide-eyed.
Yeah.
But man, I honestly, I truly hated watching offense last year. Like, it was miserable.
Yeah, I don't know. We all did. It was
like, it was just so bad. And oh my gosh, I was just waiting for something bad to happen. We got a first down. It was like, wow.
We were excited.
Look at us. Like, I remember when we were at the Ole Miss game. Jay was there. If y'all don't know Jay, he is a part of Locked On Sooners, correct?
Yeah.
And then Unfair Sports, he's also a pod. But we made eye contact when we were winning and like actually moving the ball. We were like, wow. And then the second half happened and we made eye contact again, like, well. It's fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
And but that's truly how it felt. Like, if we did anything great, it's like, wow, fantastic. And it was only a matter of time before the ball dropped. Except for Alabama. Not that the offense scored that much, but they didn't turn it over.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that's all we needed. But
I think that's better.
Alas. Yeah, Bama was a great game, though. So, yes, Boomer 129, Bama was a great game.
Very true.
But I just, again, though, the whole game, I almost couldn't even enjoy it because I was just waiting for our offense to start turning it over left and right. But they didn't. It was fun.
I know.
We won.
Well,
finished the game.
Do you think Arbuckle's wife has enough influence as an OU fan for him to end up like Brent and hold out for a head coaching job, or at OU, a coaching job at OU, or will he bolt the second another head coaching job opens up? All right. If you're Ben Arbuckle, you're a successful OC and you're at Oklahoma. I think he would. I don't think he bolts the second one opens up. He's getting to be
only been 4 years.
Yeah, he's getting to be an offensive coordinator for the first time at the SEC level. Remember Jeff Levy when he left was at Ole Miss. I don't know what is going on right now, but our
picture has Jackson from the Alabama page on it.
I know, that's wild. Your browser has lost connection to the camera. That's not good. I wonder how.
moved
That
the
is
camera.
Jackson, by the way. One of our people.
We hope to have Jackson on before on this summer during this summer to have a little OU Alabama preview. Oh, hello, we're
That was
back. You may have enjoyed seeing Jackson more, and if that's the case, you can go watch the Alabama channel too.
Dude,
He's
that was
pretty
really
awesome.
weird.
He's like a college football savant. It's crazy, all the stuff that he knows. But continue with Ben Arbuckle.
No, I was saying I just don't know if he has. I don't know where he would go that is a level like an SEC big time level where you would get more cachet with being a head coach at a smaller D1 school or staying at Oklahoma, developing, getting the cachet that, like a Lincoln ended up having, like Sark ended up having before he left Bama. Those guys put in years. It's not like they just left to be head coaches with no experience that was built up. But also,
I think some people also like being coordinators. They don't necessarily want the extra responsibility, stress as being a head coach, because at the end of the day, almost everything falls on you.
Mm-hmm. There's also like the head coaching job is just so different than being a coordinator of like I don't think Oklahoma would necessarily go after him with him only having 4 years of coaching experience. Even if he's on staff next year, I don't know if he would be the first answer. But if he is, I mean, I like young, imaginative coaches that can relate well. I just think that they'd want a more established coach that maybe has head coaching experience, that it will be on the market, or that they could poach maybe from another team. I don't see them hiring him as a first-time head coach at OU, especially with only having 1 year at the time he'd become head coach, being at like big-time Division I football levels. But who knows? I mean, they could. That's my opinion. If he bolts, then I'd be fair to say I was wrong.
Right, it's a business at the end of the day. I think personally he's going to be. You say the second he gets another head coaching job opens up. So that doesn't necessarily mean next year. That doesn't mean 5 years from now. That doesn't necessarily mean 10 years from now. I am much like you. I'm under the impression that I think he'll be an OC for a while, especially since, he's had only 2 years at the Division I level and then 1 year at like we talked about an SEC level, like a high caliber, like blue blood program. And so you're going to want to gain all the experience you can there. Not to say somebody might not try to poach him. He's a fantastic coach from resume. I hope he's a fantastic coach for OU as well at this level, and I think he will be. But I don't know. And again, the second another head coaching job, like you mentioned, is it going to go to smaller D1? Is it? I don't know. I don't think I would want to go to a smaller D1. Have to deal with NIL even at that level.
Yeah, I mean,
and all the other issues, but it's not my life.
I don't know.
Now, if a wife's huge OU fan and this is like where she wants to raise kids and have a family, then never ever underestimate the power of a wife or girlfriend.
Yeah, tell Bill Belichick about the power of a girlfriend. Anyways, moving on to Josh Pate.
He's not have a girlfriend. He has babysitting.
And that's I think more ways than one. There's a new ranking out, and I'm only bringing this up because it has OU ranked high, so it means I agree with it right now. And Josh Pate has
We're not biased.
Now, he starts off ridiculously. Starts off with that right here. Texas being at number 2 is just whatever. Actually, they're going to be pretty good on defense, and assuming Arch Manning can move around better than, well, I almost made an inappropriate joke. Move around and can just not turn the ball over. They'll be all right for the most part. So whatever. But he has OU at 10. I think this is. By the way, we are playing. Who all on here are we playing? We're playing LSU, we're playing Alabama, we're playing Texas. We're playing Ole Miss, we're playing South Carolina, we're playing Michigan. Jeez. That's going to be tough.
Pretends to be shocked.
OU being number 10. Why did he? And the reason why he had OU at 10 was because he believes that, with the defense that he thinks is a top 15 minimum, not minimum, but a legitimate top 15, can be top 10 defense. And you add Arbuckle with Mateer, that brings us up. I mean, the level of just ability that brings on the offensive side of the ball to give your defense at least some confidence.
Right.
You're giving it to a side of the ball that can do something with it.
Hopefully.
I mean, can you imagine whenever they get stops and they see the offense take advantage of it and score?
Right.
I mean,
I've been on
it's gotta
teams
be
where
shocking.
I felt like I had to do everything, so I can semi-imagine, but I don't. Yeah, no. That's one thing I loved hearing about, like Kendall Dolby saying is last year the offense hated it going against us. We ate their lunch, and now it's more even.
Right.
Like the offense is not scared. They're able to do
Yeah.
something. They're got more energy. They have more passion behind it. More energy. More passion.
Yeah.
Sorry. So that is exciting. I hope we do better than this, but I mean, hey, I can agree to an extent because that's one thing we talked about. We had a fantastic defense last year. We're returning most of them. If we just had a pulse of an offense that was mid,
Yep.
we won 10 games.
Very true.
Wow, 9. At least 9.
The question is, how many games next year? What's like the minimum game we could win next year to keep people's spirits high? Jeremy, you asked a question here. I don't really know what you're asking, my brother. Who will be the 2026 Oklahoma FB Verna S negative recruiting Oklahoma has to stop? I don't. If you want to ask it again, and I just kind of explain what you mean.
Yeah, I was trying to. I don't know
what you're
figure
asking.
that out too.
But interested in the question you're asking, though, for sure. All right, let's get to this next one. We got some.
How many games do I think that OG has to win to keep fans from losing their minds entirely?
Yeah.
Well, all of them, because we lose our minds entirely after one loss.
But
realistically.
Well, yeah. I mean, no fan thinks we're going undefeated next year.
8 or 9.
8 or 9. Okay.
I want to say 9, but I think 2, given our schedule. I mean, look at all these people in this ranking alone. I mean, I think 8 would do the trick of people being happy, but you can't get blown out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be competitive in your 4 losses, but I think overall it would need to be 9.
Yeah, I think you're right. If you're just competitive in most of them, yeah, I agree. I think 9 would be solid. 8 would be fine with me too.
I think.
We have a brutal schedule.
And I think at the end of the day too, you cannot get blown out by Texas.
No, you can't.
Like,
Luckily,
you can't do that again.
when we've been healthy, we've beaten Texas in the last few years. We just, we don't have a quarterback the first year. We do. Our second, we win. And next year, we've listed 9 starters on offense. It makes it tough. People will get tired of me bringing that up. I'm not, because I believe in truth. And sometimes you don't need to have these deep level takes. You missed all your starters on offense last year. That's why we weren't good people. That's very, very, very simple, actually.
Yeah.
You have 12 inches of an offensive line through a season. You're not going to be good up front, or you're not going to be as good as you can. We had guys, I think, but they all got injured, and then none of them got cohesiveness. And just a little reminder of what actually happened last year, so people don't just tell you that, how were we bad last year? Well, we were missing our guys. And there you go. That actually doesn't help you at all. There's a House settlement update. So there was a proposal for a settlement in terms of there being a final resolution to revenue sharing and to how they're going to handle caps and scholarships. Well, the settlement got preliminarily. I don't know how to do the Amazon link stuff.
It's in the media.
There's sorry, hold on. I'm just going to do it now. I'm distracted. All right, what was it? I don't know where it is.
It's in the videos last year. Down.
Sorry, we're trying to find
Down, do your dance. Amazon link, up.
All right, right here?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
You can make a difference here at the Voice of College Football. Use the Amazon link. Financially contribute to the Voice of College Football without spending a penny. Same shopping experience. It's easy. Go to any video on any channel. Go to the description section and grab the link right next to the capital letters that say Amazon. Use that link, and Amazon will instantaneously convert to your account, settings, history, everything intact, just like whatever link you use right now. No difference. Pay no attention to the product that you see right there. Just go search what you want. Don't forget the Amazon link. Thank you for your support. Sincerely, the Voice of College Football.
Those helmets are sick. I want to get one. So the House settlement came out. There was, the one that floats. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
There was a update to it. There was the district judge kind of didn't accept the original offer for the original settlement. So they submitted basically saying that it didn't. It
lost
left
connection again.
Too many people out. I don't know why it's doing this. It's kind of annoying. Left too many people out, and when it did, there we go, we're back. When it did, or because it did, she wouldn't accept it because she thought it was too unfair for those who were going to be just taken off of scholarship, like out of nowhere, and that without them being able to continue was unfair to them. So she said she wanted a different solution. She mentioned grandfathering in. You could phase out. I think what most schools settled on, or at least what was submitted this week, was it gave colleges the option to offer kids scholarships or positions that were either going to get them but couldn't because of new salary or new a scholarship cap, or did have them but then were taken away because they had too many kids on scholarship and therefore couldn't retain them. But this gives colleges the option. The interesting thing is if it gives them the option, they can all say we just didn't want you, and the same people can be removed that were going to be removed regardless. But I think that will work because schools and colleges get to dictate who's on their team anyways, throughout every year. So it's not like they can mandate you have to keep players that you don't want. Mm-hmm. So I think she'll probably accept that the settlement.
I'm confused because college football is a business, right?
Yeah.
Businesses don't have to keep employees they don't want or non-productive employees. Mm-hmm. So if that's kind of what it's come to, I don't see why that's an issue to be like, sorry, John Doe, you got to go. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, so she says that because they were offered scholarships, they were relying on those, and nothing due to their own misfortune, due to their own acts. Really, just the fact that their settlement came up, they were going to have that taken away, and she didn't see that as fair to the.
It's not fair to people who get offered a job and then a company has pay cuts or has
I know
a fire that burns down the place. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's in the real world. You can be offered a job and get that job taken for any reason under the sun, not necessarily even if it's your own fault.
Yeah. There's a reliance, damages, I guess, if you took it. But, I know. It's just, I think that they're trying to find a way to just get kids paid, but also, treat or also make the universities feel better. And they just don't. I
don't know when I switched to this bowler scholarship. Who cares anymore? It's because they get paid, honestly. If it's a business, then it's a business. Like, yeah. My thing is, I feel like we can't have it both ways. We can't be like, oh, they're just kids and this, that, or the other, but they're making all this money too. Like, not saying you're disrespectful to people, but you can call a spade sometimes. Like, hey, that was a really crappy throw.
Yeah, no, I get it. Sorry, I've been moving around a lot. But yeah, no, you're right. And there's so they're trying to me, it's decide just so much, where they can make the.
To me, it's so much right now is they're wanting all these college athletes to have their cake and eat it too. And that's just not the real world. So, alas.
So I think she's gonna probably rule on it here in the next week or so. I would assume that there's a, I don't know where or really what would be the other option if she doesn't accept this. I just think there's too much kind of going into the reasoning of why she would. So like there was also this discussion of how this is going to affect the college football playoff, or how the college football playoff is going to be affected going forward. They're going to end up going, I think, to 16 teams, if not more eventually, and then call it the SEC, because there's a couple reasons. One is the SEC is wanting to do 9 games instead of 8 in the regular season, which could in turn be about $5 million more in revenue, I think, per team. And the Big Ten is wanting to do the same. And they're basically, remember, like, they had the new rules that came out, I think, in February, where the Big Ten and the SEC get to decide the new rules for basically the college football playoff. They get the final say. And, well, they have to have. What was the phrase you used? They have
to have 5 SEC, 5.
4, and it was 4 automatics from the SEC, 4 automatics from the Big Ten,
2,
and then 2, and 1 or something like that. Yeah. But there was they have to have like consideration or honest consideration of the other conferences, needs. It's like
honest consideration.
Yeah, couldn't care less what you say. It's my conference. Too bad. Should have been better and built your stuff up years ago, and you would be in my position. But you're not.
I get it, but I still hate it.
Oh, I do too. But it's like when people complain about flopping. I'm to that point. I
complain about it.
I get it sucks, people. It's what the game. I'd rather flop and get a key turnover and let you talk crap on me on Twitter than not and lose the game.
I thought you had more
Because here's
pride.
how petty I would be. I'd be tweeting people and be like, "Hey man, you should tweet this to Shea Gilgis, and y'all can tweet while I'm in the NBA Finals. Enjoy the flopping."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I would get
No,
either
it's
fired or
No,
beat up.
I need men to man.
I'm not
up in
saying you're
sports.
wrong. I get it, but I mean, we can. It's like me being mad about NIL and saying that I hate that players are playing for money now when they don't half the time deserve it.
I think
but
true. I think for me, we're getting off. He knows how much I annoy it, and it just gets under my skin. And on top of it, they'll flop
No,
and then
it's
like
apt. It's
whine to the referees. I'm like, it's one thing to flop, but then you go and whine about it. Like,
Yeah.
man up. One, you're making it look like another man punked you, and then you're crying to another man, asking him to blow his whistle to help you. Daddy, help me! Blow the whistle.
Oh,
No,
gosh,
absolutely not. That's what it comes off to me.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying it works.
I would take screens and get ran over by girls much taller and weighed a lot more than me. And the last thing I did was,
Yeah, it was
no. It just, man up. Or at least don't cry to the refs about it every single play.
The settlement would offer $2.8 billion in damages for athletes who couldn't capitalize on NIL, name, image, and likeness between 2016 and 2021,
It is a lot of money.
and allow D1 schools to share up to $20.5 million with each with players. But it also imposed new restrictions, including implementing new limits on rosters as a compromise for eliminating limits on how many scholarships teams could offer. I don't know, like the trade-off in that.
But
as
at
a
some
result,
point, too,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
they're going to have to cut scholarships because they're going to be cutting other programs. Specifically, they're going to cut other women's sports. And then you have the whole Title IX conundrum where you have to have, an equal, quote unquote, amount of women's scholarships provided as men's. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like chicken or the egg. I don't know. It's so complicated and I hate it.
It says here that schools won't be forced to offer roster spots back. However, lawyers argued that that was in keeping with the status quo as players could get cut from teams for other reasons besides the settlement, while defendants insisted, this is a quote from the brief, that the changes to the settlement agreement recognize that the individual schools and their athletic departments retain discretion to independently determine which athletes will be on their rosters. That has always been the case, and it remains unchanged whether or not there are roster limits.
It's true. If you're not making it in the classroom, bye. If you're not making your workouts, bye. You're not making your weights, bye. You're not taking things seriously, bye. So, I mean, they can pretty much give a reason for anything that they want to.
Yep. The revisions to the settlement agreement ensure that class members who have or would have lost roster spots or promised roster spots as a result of the new roster limits will be in the same position as they would have been. That's called reliance. I lost my spot. Would have been in if roster limits were never implemented, i.e. roster limits do not apply to them. The coach or defendants added attempting to guarantee roster spots would raise a host of practical and legal difficulties. Even if student athletes were to receive a guaranteed right of return, they could be cut the next day for athletic performance or other reasons. So I like that they were at least, a little bit, just like the real world, like common sense, that a little practicality.
Like even without the roster limits, kids could still get cut and lose their scholarships regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan asked you a question. It's not for me.
Wait, won't players still? Jonathan says, won't players still demand NIL from collectives even with revenue sharing? So that'll be the interesting thing. The collective NIL aspect will be, you won't be able to pay players directly from like collectives. It'll come from the university with revenue share. What they'll be able to do is get teams to still do NIL agreements, but you're not going to have the like multi-million dollars. We're going to give you X, Y, and Z or this amount of money just to come to our university anymore, because it'll have to be based on the revenue that the team gets. And so that's what the hope is that by revenue sharing and limiting where money can be paid from the university, that you're limiting the ability for like collectives and other areas to have an influence on athletics as a whole. But there's the difficulty is until they do that, like they try to make, so a lot of people like got mad at the NCAA for not trying to tack down the ability for colleges to or collectives to tell recruits, hey, come here, we'll give you X amount of money. The NCAA made a rule against that. They made a rule saying if you're a collective, if you're a donor, you cannot talk to recruits on trips and tell them how much you're going to get if you come here. The courts put an injunction on it saying that meant players weren't able to capitalize on their full evaluation in NIL. So the NCAA was like, all right, well, I guess we'll drop the rule. And then everyone gets mad at the NCAA for not having a rule. And it's like, it's not, I'm not saying they're perfect, but they're trying to do something.
You mentioned, I think it was last week, you mentioned a ton of different other things the NCAA has tried that have all been shot down by the courts. So at the end of the day, they're trying, courts are shutting it down because it's interfering with a person's ability to make money on their name, image, and likeness. That's simple. Like, no matter what they try, it all gets turned down.
Yeah. Also,
they are trying to limit it.
Mm-hmm.
Truly, but
also there was an interesting article in a IRS for tax reasons about like public schools have to have a limit on how much they can really. Public schools have a limit on how much they can directly impact like private acts because you start towing a line from being a public service to trying to enforce private contracts between parties. And once you do that, you become a private party. Then it's hard to say that they aren't like employees, or you don't want there's other issues than just saying players can't do something. Because I mean, once you go from being a public entity or like a public service like a university is, to saying we're going to have private contract with these players and enforce them, it just creates other issues that are, I think, interesting to read about and learn. But there are just to finish up there. It says, and then we'll get to. I know T wants to get to the softball, as do I. But it just says that given that the proposal doesn't require schools to reinstate roster spots, however, it is unclear if this will be enough for Wilkin, who's the judge that they're in front of. At some point, that'll be enough for Wilkin. At some point in the next couple of weeks, she will issue a decision about whether the proposed grandfathering solution is enough to allow the agreement to go forward. I think it will be. That's my prediction. I think she'll say yes. She might have some revisions that she may want. I think they'll be tiny and small. Mm-hmm. I think that this is as fair as it could be. That look, we'll give schools the option to keep some players they had to let go of, or offer some players that we're going to offer before the limit was put forward. And at some point, you just can't do more than that, I don't think. Like, it's not practical to think, every player's going to get their spot back. But, yeah, so there's that. Hopefully we get a resolution here soon. That'd be nice. But, yeah. All right. You want to go softball? Or do you want to talk? We have let's go softball.
Okay. Softball.
Lead us off, T.
All right. I'm sure most of you, hopefully, watched the SEC tournament this past weekend. OU was the 1 seed and started off playing LSU, and Sam Landry pitched almost a no-hitter. She pitched a 1-hitter, which really was just a weird hit to Nelly that took a weird bounce, and it just did not allow her enough time to get the person out, which is frustrating, not on Nelly's part, but just in general, like the hop that it took. But Sam Landry, man, she threw a heck of a game.
Yeah.
And we're able to take home that win. We played Arkansas the next game. And that one was, if you have not watched the game, I recommend starting around the 4th inning, starting to watch it, maybe the 3rd. We got down 6-1. And in the entire history of the SEC tournament, SEC teams were 0-80 when being down by 5 or more runs in a game.
0-8, yeah.
0-80. Turns out it is now 1-81. And I added the extra 81 because Texas got blown out by A&M, so they were blown out by more than 5+ runs.
Awesome.
Therefore, I'm going to add it to the stat there. But
Texas sucks.
Sydney Barker had 2 solo home runs, so big day for the freshman. Ella Parker had a home run. Elena Agbagnani had a home run. Hold on, that's 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
who else? We can't go dead air.
I know. No. Hold on. I'm wondering if I'm right.
We've got to write them down.
But anyways, I know I should have. We're going to show it in video in A. But 7th inning, we are down. We are down 6-4. We have 2 people on, 1 out. And freshman Gabby Garcia comes to the plate. First pitch, boom. Sends that sucker out for the walk-off 3-run home run to help us win that game overall. And, man, I had it right. I was just making sure my count was right. I was like, wait, am I off? And we were able to win that game. And, for someone who wasn't even considered for the freshman watch list, therefore she could not be put on the freshman finalist or freshman of the year finalist list, girl has balled out. She has been one of my favorite players to watch this year. And I'm hoping that, we take some momentum into the postseason. Unfortunately, we didn't get to play the championship game against Texas A&M. Texas A&M team is also, they're a hot team right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that game could have gone either way. It was literally going to be whose bat was the hottest.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up getting the 1 seed. Texas A&M did the overall 1 seed going into postseason. We got the 2 seed. It's fair. We were the 2 seed last year. We know what happened last year. So I'm just hoping the girls go into the tournament with just some swagger, some confidence. Most of all, I think the biggest thing about the game against Arkansas was we didn't pitch Sam Landry. We pitched everybody else but Sam Landry.
Yeah.
And I think the great part of that about that game was knowing that Sam Landry was not going to come in.
Yeah.
Patty was essentially telling the other girls, step up or, don't. Some are drown or swim. Sink or swim.
Yeah.
There we go. Sink or swim. And that's one thing that Patty, I mean, if you're a Sooner fan who, wants to win every game, kind of gives you a heart attack. But she thinks of the bigger picture, and we know that.
Yep.
Like I know internally that she would rather these girls be put in these pressure situations, and you either rise up or you don't.
Yeah.
Rather than just win the game. Not that saying that Patty doesn't want to win, so don't take that as that. But she knows that going into the postseason, you can't rely on Sam every single game. Now Sam says you can't rely on her every single game, and I want to believe her, but in theory, you got to have a solid number 2. You got to have a solid number 3. In the last game of the season last year in the national championship, we pitched 5 pitchers at Texas as a prime example of pitch by.
We did pitch a lot.
Committee. Yes, and so she's wanting them to go ahead and get some of that pressure now, going in rather than in the postseason having this type where it is do or die. You either win or you don't, and you go home. So that was really what was good. I was very proud of Peyton Monticelli. She came in and they didn't score on her. She looked very much in control.
True.
And then Audrey Lowry came in, freshman pitcher. She went 9 up, 9 down. She did not allow a run. She was slinging it. She was having an amazing season at the beginning of the year. She battled some injuries. I believe it was a hamstring. And it seemed like when we tried to pitch her, she looked like she was missing a step, which rightfully so. If you're injured, your pitching is so much of your lower body strength. So for her to come in and go 9 up, 9 down against if not the hottest team at the plate.
Player of the year. Yeah.
The player of the year, yes. But like as a whole,
yeah,
to send them 9 up, 9 down, like that's applause to her. She really, really kicked some butt out there, and hopefully she takes that into the postseason as well.
I was thinking about what next call I'm going to make because I said Patty Gasso would have a good year. Everyone doubted. I didn't. Kirsten Deal will have.
My middle name's Kristen, so he does that a lot.
Yeah, that's not fair. She'll be the reason we win a national championship if we do.
Okay.
I'm calling her right now.
I hope you're right.
Everyone's hating. Actually, I don't know. Kirsten, please don't listen to that and think I know. I'm going to say she's the reason.
She's very capable.
I said it with May last year, and I said Jordy Ball her freshman year was going to be good.
Shut up with Jordy Ball. Okay. No,
but no,
Kirsten Dill,
I think
we've seen her in person. Those were the 2 games we went to. Throw absolute dimes of games against Texas and Tennessee.
Yeah, by the way,
know she's
capable.
capable.
They didn't send us to the other ones.
We know she's capable of it. I don't know if it's a confidence thing, if it's a fatigue. I don't know. But man, I hope you're right. I do hope you're right.
Kirsten,
truly.
Your job is to just throw a pitch, not to win games, not to get strikeouts. It's nothing, none of that. It's just to throw this pitch. That's all your job is.
Yeah. Believe in yourself.
Dude, the moment you can look through life with that simplicity, it just makes everything so much better.
It must be nice to be a man to look at things so simply.
It's unbelievable. Like, the goal of anything it's just to do that little one thing that moment well, and then you just keep doing that, and it turns into something else.
Right.
So there you go.
No, she's capable. I mean, we have pitchers that are very capable. I hope Isabella Smith is confident. I hope Peyton Monticelli comes in and continues to be very good middle relief.
Who's the blonde?
And then Audrey Lowry. And then Audrey Lowry, the freshman.
Yeah. Okay,
now, I hope Sam Landry, I hope she just continues to be solid.
She had injuries this year?
Sam Lowry did, yes.
Audrey Lowry?
Audrey Lowry.
Yeah.
Gosh.
You said Sam Landry. I get it. That's my fault.
A lot of names are being thrown out there, but yes. So we're going to go ahead and show some videos from the weekend.
A wise man says this, by the way.
Makes you appreciate May's
ahead.
pitching last year. She kept getting criticized about it.
Yeah. Not by me. Not by me. I was saying y'all, I shouldn't say y'all. There were a few people doubting, and I said she will come up clutch, trust me. And
right.
she did.
She did. And I'm
her fourth.
Her biggest thing for me always seemed like confidence. Like, you could read it on her face when she was like, lethal May. And you're like, oh, yeah, she's dialed in. Like, she's about to just shut him down. And, in the postseason, she did. So I'm hoping Kirsten Deal does the same as well. I hope she just locks in confidently.
She will. I'm calling it.
Well.
I'm calling it.
But anyways, we're going to show some videos from this weekend as well as during the selection show yesterday. If you have not already seen them, you're in for a treat.
These are awesome. Yeah.
So OU, I believe, also maybe set a record for number of home runs in the SEC tournament as well, on top of the only team to come back from 5+ runs down. So here are the home runs.
All right, home runs.
Again.
You know what I mean? Talk of the town. Now you gotta reach out to Chris and talk to me now.
And of course, the game winning.
Patty.
The game winning home run by the freshman.
I mean, they're just, they got to be like, Texas saw this too. They're thinking like, they're not going to do it again, are they? They just don't lose. Right here, Patty. Watch it.
I love the crowd. You can tell the ones that are cheering for you against you.
Look at the athleticism.
Shuffle.
Look at the athleticism. Turn. We're going lateral. Boom. Out of here. That's awesome. God, you know what's even better is to see how upset they all are. They got to feel terrible. Mm-hmm. Do you imagine like how good that feels? And they're like, these people are just like, there's fans up here that are just legitimately mad they lost. Don't you love that?
Well, yeah. I mean, I love it because we won, but I've seen it. I've
seeing
been a
people
part
have
of
to
some
deal with
heartbreak
losses better
losses.
than us dealing with a win.
Well, no, yeah.
I love seeing people have to deal with a loss.
No, but man, I loved it for Gabby, man.
No, yeah,
that was
you were
such a big moment. And we got
we
the players on. I think we are frozen, but they can still always hear us.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Remember, it's more so on our side. But
that's true.
I know when we're going into 7th, I remember saying out loud, like, well, we have who we want up to the plate right now. We have some leaders up there. We have, some hot bats. Like, hopefully we get it done here. I believe we can.
Oh, there we go. All right.
Cassidy got on. We barely missed getting a double play thrown at us, which would have been not fun. But
I'll tell you what, it would not
when
have been fun in the
we
Smith
had
household.
first and second, or second and third with one out and Gabby up, I was like, oh man, I believe. First pitch sends it. You love it. You just love to see it. It was so much fun. So if you haven't watched the game, go back and watch a rerun because you know how it ends.
Yeah.
And you get to enjoy all the fun part.
Yeah.
Someone said, will Texas A&M beat Oklahoma since they have a better I mean, I'm not saying they can't.
Will Texas? No, they won't beat Oklahoma. They can. I mean, they're not going to beat OU.
The thing with OU is they've been in so many situations where everybody wants to beat them.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of like with last year with Texas in the national championship. OU had been there, not that Texas had it, but OU had been there and won. So like they didn't crumble under pressure. Right. So I think that's like really the advantage that Oklahoma has, even though we are a young team. It's just in the culture, essentially, like not giving up. And like Patty said, just fight back, claw your way back. Like you can bend but don't break.
Oh, okay. We weren't frozen on there. Yeah.
The bend but don't break. I said in last week's podcast that I think this year is really anybody's year to win the national championship, including us. I think it's going to be who gets hot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
Right now. And who carries that momentum through the first week in June. I mean, all the other years it was OU's to lose. I don't think necessarily it's OU's to lose this year. I think it's anybody's to win, including... Sorry, there's a lot of comments coming up. I'm supposed to not look at them, but including OU. Like, I do think OU has a chance if they just lock in. I mean, they have the bats that are capable. They do have a pitcher who is capable.
Yeah.
And we have pitchers who have all shown moments of greatness that... If they can just lock in and be consistent going in this postseason to give Sam the assistance that she needs, I think we have a shot.
Yeah.
But Arkansas is still going to be hot. A&M's going to be hot. Texas is out for blood. Tennessee's out for blood. Florida's out for blood. There's a lot of really good teams out there. And most of them, the SEC teams, of the top 10 teams chosen for seeding, 8 of whom were SEC.
A couple pertinent questions here from 200 men versus one polar bear. First off, hilarious name. Second off, these questions are always, are we considering fatigue? Because like a group of 5 hyenas kill like massive lions and stuff. Like they just get tired after a while. Who went? Well, no, we don't do that. If Chad pitched, could he make a Division III softball roster? Well, that's funny you ask. I couldn't make a Division III softball roster because I'd be playing for OU. and they wouldn't want me in D3, or I'd be in the Olympics right now or training for it.
You'd also would be a man. I'm not gonna man in a women's sport.
Well, that's
I don't want to open up that door.
who pitches better? Tyranny, because she's done it. Tyranny, she's done it.
Now give him a month to learn how, and I'm sure Chad, he's good at everything. It's kind of ridiculous.
Oh, thank you. That's
Yeah,
me.
you're welcome. One of our first days, we went ice skating, and he just took off.
No,
I don't understand. He's ice skated like once in his life. It was really annoying.
I called to my ancestors. All right, but T actually brought this to my attention. It actually is really funny. It's the reaction of the reaction to regional announcements.
Yeah,
right?
so the seeding for regionals and super regionals was last night. So the top 8 seeds will host a regional and a super regional, assuming you make it out of your regional. It still gets hosted there, whether or not your butt's there or not, which is kind of ironic.
That would be cold.
But this is the reaction to the teams who got seeded in the Norman Regional. So if you haven't already seen it, you're in for a treat.
Share screen. It's like whenever you. Well, let's watch it first. Boom. And here we go.
I'm defending national champs, winners of 6 of the last 8. The Oklahoma Sooners, a new look this year. Will they
I love
come
how we
up
were
with the
just
same
expecting, like,
results
it's just
at
been
the end of the season? They will be hosting the Norman Regional at Love's Field. And they'll get underway on ESPNU Friday night against the Terriers of Boston University, champions of the Patriot League, led by Casey Ricard, a 20-game winner with over, that's right, Surrender Cobra on their heads, but they're going to head in there and fight like a terrier. She's got over 200 Ks. Surrender Cobra
It's slowly setting in on her that they're going to go play OU.
on their heads, but they're going to head
I
in
love
there
that
and
they
fight like a terrier.
wanted to be excited. Like they had a moment of oh no, like, and that's was like just what the reaction is, and it's just so.
How about the Mavericks of
Well, listen, watch Omaha too. You'll see the same thing.
Three-peat Summit champs.
I don't even know. Part of me thought they didn't even realize where they were seated. But look at this girl in the front. She goes, "Oh, are you joking?" Like, look at this reaction. Disbelief.
Look at my man back here too, though. It's funny. Back here in the hat.
Their sister Ryan, the good hitter. They've also got a really
It's like they look like they're getting in trouble.
Best fielding percentage in the country, and they will take on an ACC at-large pick. The Cal Bears are in the 2002 national champs for the 30th.
That's a great angle, by the way. Whoever picked that.
Led by Tiana Bell, a 350 hitter with some power.
She had to remind them that there was a camera. At least try to act excited.
Yeah, it's below the ground level.
But no. But they didn't even act excited. If you you didn't watch the whole seating show.
I didn't.
But this whole seating show, no other reactions were like this. Even those who were going to A&M to face the 1 seed were still so excited to go. Sorry.
This is awesome. 4-time defending national champions.
If you didn't know.
Elon would take me off Twitter if OU won 4 football national championships in a row. Goodness. This is awesome.
Who leads the team in home runs with 16.
All right, so Texas A&M,
Arigato.
number 2.
That's why she's the
No,
GOAT.
but if you watched any of the other seedings, every other team was, especially the smaller division ones, were so excited to be there. They were really cheering and dancing and really getting after it. And you see them, and it's just a stark contrast to the ones going to Norman. Like Boston, I give it to Boston. They attempted to be happy.
Yeah.
They went, because I saw their name, got excited, and then it was like they realized where they were going, and like they said, surrender Cobra. And then the one girl in the front was like, yeah, like let's just be excited.
That girl didn't play.
And then
I'm just saying that's usually how it goes.
and
Left
then
the heart,
Omaha didn't even try.
Omaha.
The girl in the front went
Yeah.
like that. Like, are y'all seeing this? Like at first I'd like, did they even see their names? But then I noticed the adults on the side there, like they saw it and kind of looked at them like, what do y'all think? And again, shock, not so much excitement. And then Cal, that coach had to be like, hey, y'all know y'all are on the camera. Y'all should probably cheer or do something. And they're sitting there like, man. But here's my thing. It's postseason. Postseason, anything can happen. It's March Madness. It's May Madness. Like truly anything can happen. If you get hot at the right time, you can win. And
Kind of like in life and marriage too.
I mean, truly, it
Get
is.
hot at
Like,
the right time.
True. Anyways, but
Sorry.
But it is
Go
with
ahead.
anything. Like,
No, yeah.
this is just because you're playing the 4-time national champion, quote unquote. We all know as OU fans that it's not
It's
the
not
same
the
team that
same,
won,
yeah,
but they're
right.
still very talented, and they still know how to win. Yes, you're playing A&M, you're playing Texas, you're playing Florida, you're playing whomever, but anything can happen. JMU made it to the World Series
With Odyssey.
with Odyssey, yes, but like they weren't quote unquote supposed to be there. They weren't
They weren't.
supposed to make it, and they made a freaking run. We had to beat them twice
Yep.
to advance to the finals. Like they were this close. Like truly, anything can happen.
Didn't they beat us one game?
It's hard not to cheer for a Cinderella team. I'm sure everybody would cheering for anybody but Oklahoma.
Right.
Yes, they beat us the first game. So that's why we
right,
had to
that's
beat them
right.
twice. We had to come up through the losers bracket, and we did. But
Did that.
I will be the first to admit I have not watched these other teams play. I don't think they have an Odyssey sitting on their team. Don't know.
No, they
But
don't. We do. And Kirsten Dill. Gonna come
But-
alive.
I'm so excited. My husband, he straight up said, "Do you want to go golf with me on Saturday?" I
Saturday.
said, "Yeah, probably not."
Oklahoma City Golf and Country Club. If anyone wants to tee off, 10 o'clock. We'll be there.
If anybody has a membership there, Chad will gladly go.
Oh, well, you don't have to out me like that, T. It's not funny. It's not fair. I can get one. We can get one.
No, I can't.
Yeah.
They're not even the last person they apparently accepted was Sam Bradford.
Yeah, but
I
we
think
haven't
we have Sam
asked.
Bradford money.
Well, I'm not saying we could afford it. We'd have to. The house would be foreclosed on and everything, but it'd be a cool couple months.
Couple months.
Maybe.
We couldn't afford a month.
We can't afford the fee. Actually, the membership fee is tough.
Anyways.
100,000.
We're really crapping on ourselves here.
Listen, if one of y'all have 110,000, you could just throw on a golf membership. Get us some new microphones.
True. But no, I'm so excited for postseason softball. I know many of you guys are too. It's going to be great. And I think this year especially, there's so much parity in college softball. There in sports in general, but college softball, man.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's
It's going to be fun. I'm probably going to be watching.
the most impressed
all
I've
day.
been with Patty Gasso coaching, though, in the last few, because she doesn't have, as good as her teams are, and she's a great coach, obviously, but as good as she is, she's had, although they're extremely talented, it just goes to show how talented they've been in years past, because there's not the talent on the team they've had in the last few years. A lot of that is because they are younger. It might develop into that.
Right. Patty
from
said
now
herself
on,
she was
but,
looking
you know,
forward to actually coaching this year.
Yeah, yeah.
Meaning, when you've had 4-year starters, they just know what to do.
Right.
They're just intrinsic mode. They just know what to do. They just have that confidence. Where a younger team's gonna have some of a learning curve. They're gonna be less confident or whatever. And so she was really looking forward to coaching. And again, people are like, "Oh, see, she's not even that great of a coach." It's like, no, don't read into that
Yeah.
so far. They're great and able to be that because she was great when they were younger too.
Yes.
But man, I never want Patty to go, ever. So Patty, if you're hearing this, please don't ever leave us.
Also, get us tickets to sit in the stadium, because every time we do, and good seats. We don't want to. If we're gonna go, let's go. You know what I mean?
Everything's a good seat at least.
Let's because when we show up, Kirsten Deal pitches like prime Kalani Ricketts. So I don't know if you want to win. No, I'm just saying. But yeah, so tickets. Just reach out on X, DMs. I think mine are open.
We're excited.
but-
He will miss golf to go.
Yeah. Well, if you can schedule the game after my 18, I'd appreciate it. I don't want to ask too much, though. I'll take the tickets and then maybe.
You're annoying me.
But yeah. Well, then she doesn't have to go. I can invite a friend. No, I'm just kidding. Could you imagine?
No.
Derek can go.
Derek should go
Derek,
over you.
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'd probably go if I got tickets. Well, I don't know. He's been to games before and she hadn't pitched well, or we have had bad pitching, right?
No, he's gone to the same 2 games we have.
But I thought he's been to other ones.
He hasn't gone to any others.
Oh,
this
okay.
year.
Well, yeah, he can go. All right. What a guy I am, by the way.
Oh my god.
Goodness
You're being
gracious,
a
I'm really
Chad.
something.
Let it go, dude.
Everybody.
See, you're making my wrinkle pop up.
Thank you for watching. We have 58 minutes. What?
Because people
That
get mad
was
I don't
loud
mention
at the-
baseball. This is the best I can do for you.
That was so loud.
Red River Rivalry Baseball this weekend.
Oh yeah.
We're no longer ranked as a baseball team.
We're not.
No,
We're not ranked.
because we went on a losing streak to unranked teams. But Red River Rivalry Baseball, if you're a baseball fan, go ahead and watch it.
Red River Rivalry.
I will keep up
Red
with
River Rivalry.
it via Twitter. I hope they win,
It's a tongue twister.
but I'll be watching softball.
Can we still make the postseason?
Don't ask me anything more.
Is that postseason? All right. We
Don't ask
appreciate
me
you all
anything
watching. Jackson.
110
Johnson?
days until kickoff for the 2025 Oklahoma football season.
That's right.
Jackson, we were talking about you earlier. We said that we hope to have you on our show to talk OU Alabama over the summer. So, surprise!
There will
be looking
some
for our
time
DM.
for sure. All right. We're going to sign off. We hope y'all had a good time. Hope
Hope
y'all
you have a good week.
Hope you had a good
Ooh.
weekend. That was clutch.
Yeah.
All right,
We're
lead it
only a
off.
couple Mondays out from Memorial Day.
Yep. Couple. And that means a lot of public pools are going to be opening up. That means be careful.
Be careful.
Public pools are disgusting.
Better
They're
than
filled with
lakes.
chemicals. Better than plagues.
Lakes.
Lakes?
Lakes don't have the chemicals that at least kill all the crap.
Yeah, well.
Literally.
There's some like, well, dude,
Like
the lakes right
human
now be
and-
full.
Human and fish.
Yeah.
We derailed. Anyways, hope you have a good week. We are the Voice of College
Lake
Football
Michigan
Oklahoma.
is massive.
We are
by the
here
way.
every Monday
Looks like an
at
ocean.
7 p.m. Central
Looks almost
Time.
pretty big.
Follow us on social medias, like and subscribe to our channel here, as well as follow the Voice of College Football on all their social medias and check out their website as well. We hope to see you next Monday.
Y'all rock. God bless.
Boomer.